Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. I'm sticking this bit on the front of something I filmed yesterday. You may notice a few changes around the video, in the bottom right hand corner for instance. And you may notice a difference on my comments, or replies to comments and things like that. I got my professionally done logos back from Pixmala's other half, Richard. They've been really well done as requested, and I'm going to start putting them to good use. And the first good use I did this morning was to add a couple of items of merchandise in the merchandise store, one of which was actually requested. Maybe you'll like it. Go and have a look anyway. There's a couple of new items in there. There will be more as I get round to them, but the site itself has one flaw that's a bit of a nuisance. When you've done a design, what it doesn't do is allow you to create another item based on that design. You've got to start again. You know, there's no sort of copy and paste mechanism, which is a bit of a faff, but anyway, I'll get on with and let this video run, all about fiddling around with the grow lights and getting stuff sorted out. And later today we'll do everything in bloom on the 8th, which won't include these pretty little things because these are pinquiculars, not orchids. But I just thought I'd take advantage. They're catching the light, and that one in particular just happens to be doing rather well at the moment. It's got two blooms going over, buds coming out of the base, and this lovely cluster of 3. Anyway, let's get on with the video. Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. Sort of phase 1 sort of done. I've got the two large lights up there. I put a wire across because if I'd put them back against that wall, they were just that bit too far away. So I've strung them a little bit out from the wall. In a way that's good because it means they tip at a slight angle. Given that the beam comes out at 45 degrees, it means I'm not wasting so much. You know, the line of the 45 degrees now gets that wire up there, and the bottom bit comes down to here. So it's actually covering quite a large area. Doesn't show so much now, it's daytime, but I'll do it again when it's dark. So what I've done is I've put a high wire up here, and this is good light stuff. I've put these at an angle like that so that they still get, you know, when we get some light in from the top and the side, they'll get both. They'll get that during the day, and then they'll get the lights during the night. All my Tolumnias are along there, so that's that lot. I haven't dealt with that lot yet. This will have to move now because it's these two block the light for everything else, so those need to go farther back. This shelf now is getting good light, and the plan will be to arrange things so that small stuff that needs good light can be at the front, and then gradually tear it back. I know they'll progressively get farther away, but like I've always said, stuff always did okay before I had any lights. You know, this is a bonus, not a necessity, if you see what I mean. So that's that side over here, and then trying not to point the camera or look at the lights, I'll put my hand over my eyes. I've made use of that rack and put one of the others up there. So these now get quite good light from above, but it'll always be filtered through the bubble wrap, and once the sun gets lower in the sky, that light reduces down anyway. So these are more the lower light things, or ones that can just do without bright light basically. And I've made use of the back here because the lights don't touch this area whatsoever. The only light they'd ever get is reflected light, you know, bounced light, which there isn't going to be much of. So that's made use of that back area. Quite honestly, the extractor and the inlet fan are no longer required. I was thinking about unplugging them and sort of doing away with them anyway. But what I will have to do is, if I'm going to have plants in this area, I will have to cover that up with some bubble wrap because there's quite a draft comes in there, and in the winter that draft could be below 0, so I'll have to block that up to stop cold air whizzing in. And again, I've got a top shelf here that gets good light, but it's not getting direct light off of the lights. So relatively short things. I've still got space on there. I've also got all of this top shelf here. Now I do like to keep some of that to put plants on when I'm watering, as you saw. Saves me bending down to the floor. But I can still get some plants here that will get reasonable light. And then when we get over to here, as you can see, the cattleyas are lit up. Yeah? So all I need to do with these is get the taller ones up that end and the shorter ones up this end, so that the light can get a bit more even distribution. All this rack up here I haven't looked at yet. A lot of what's up there needs to go around the other side. I'm not going to rely on artificial light for things like the Jenkinsii and the Lindleyi. Not the Lindleyi, it's a new plant. My Jenkinsii has always bloomed round the back of that rack, where it gets direct sun when the shade nettings come off. So through December and January it gets really high light. It's never had an extended day length on it, so it's managed without before, and there's only so much room, if you see what I mean. So, oh, now it's going to rain again, great. So we've got the Tolumnias and some mounted Cattleyas up here. What was I going to say while I'm up there? We've got buds coming on there, that's good. That's the, it's one of the little lemon drops crossed with something or other. And then these up here don't need the brightest light. This is my little group of Latorias up here, suffering Latorias, let me rephrase that. But any light that comes off the lights has to get through the Tolumnias to get to them, so they're going to get glimpses of it, they're not going to get highlight. And then the Tolumnias that were there have now gone round the back. Again, they've always bloomed, sorry, not the Tolumnias, the Oncidium, the Twinkles. It began with T. So the Twinkles are now round the back there. They've always bloomed fine without extra light. They're in bud now. They don't need light to get them to bloom, do they? They're already in bud. So they're now round there where they will get the natural light. So I'm getting there. I think, although these are low light orchids, these don't need high light. They're at least 6 foot away from the light. So although it looks like they're lit up, it's very weak light. They only look like they're lit up because they're in a dark hole at the moment, because it's a really dismal day, so there's virtually no natural light. They've still got 2 layers of shade netting on. Yeah, and one of those can come off soon. That was put on when we had the strong sunshine, and I got told off for my Miltonias and Oncidiums getting too much light. Well, they won't now. 1 layer will be enough now, even if we do get a sunny day. The sun's getting low in the sky now. So we've still got room. I've still got room for some pots here that are just okay with the natural light coming in. There's still plenty of room up here, but what I'm probably going to do here, I've still got the other light. I'll go and get it. It's not turned on, but I'll go and get it. Yeah, we've still got this one. Funny, when I was talking about putting the lights up, I'd forgotten I even had that one. That was another collaboration gift, basically, so I didn't pay for it. That one gives a very even light over, well, for good growing, you know, for continuous proper growing, it does a 2 foot by a 2 foot square. But for what I want, it will quite adequately do a 3 foot by 3 foot square and still give plenty, enough to extend the day length with the sort of daylight you would get in the UK winter. I'm not after summer sun here, I'm just after extending the day lengths. Now the plan, I don't know whether I can pull it off, is for that to go up there. But if I put it up there, that messes that rack up. Unless I drop it down and the rack sits higher than that light, which I might be able to do. And then what I can do is put a whole set of short, you know, non-tall, short leaf height pots on that shelf and make use of that extra light there. Trouble is, that's the bit that gets the best light anyway, but obviously when it gets dark it doesn't get any light, so that would extend the day length for quite a large number of pots. Tall things, like things coming into bud here. What is that? It's one of my Latorias. Oh, it's Dendrobium alexandriae. Yeah, with 2 spikes on. Woohoo! So at least one of my Latorias is doing okay. But yeah, things like that large brassia up the back there, that would have to move. Is that what I think it is? No, it's not. God, I thought that was a spike for a minute. Not this time of year, surely. So, again, I might have to think. Perhaps put all the tall stuff over here, with the stuff that could do with extended light at the front, and the stuff that can make do with daylight only at the back, or filtered light from the lights, and get the tall stuff up here all together, and then I could put the short stuff there. But I've still got that worry about that rack. That rack is essential. That's mounted winter resters go up there facing the direct sun when it's low in the sky. That's necessary, that rack. But I'm still thinking, I mean, that's enough for me for one day, quite honestly. Doing up screws and putting up wires and, you know, getting everything down from where it was hidden away in the spare bedroom. But if I do too much today, I'll get fed up and start knocking stuff around. So I think that'll do for one day, and then perhaps come out here again tomorrow and have another think. If we're going to have a day like this all day long, then I can get away with not watering anything again tomorrow, and do another shuffling around day. But I really would like to get that to be used. I just don't know where to put it. It's not as powerful as the ones up above, the big square ones, these up here. Their minimum distance is 1 metre. Yeah? Minimum distance here is about 2 foot. So this is not as powerful. So I can get a bit closer to the plants. It would probably work really well up against the roof on that top shelf, but then the plants would be too close, and those cattleyas need good light. So I've still got some thinking to do, but we're over halfway. The idea of that wire up there for my, you know, things like Tolumnias that really could do with their day extended, they come from the Caribbean. They don't get short days, you know, so that'd be good for them. And the mounts there are filtering the light for the ones behind that don't need quite such bright light. So it's sort of working. I've just got a bit more thinking to do. Problem is I've got a rack there as well as there. So the big square one couldn't go up there, and if it did, it would be practically touching the Vandas anyway, so it can't go there. That's out. I'm hoping I can sort something out up there. To wait and see. So you don't forget, the other thing is, it's very easy to say, well, why don't you put a rack, you know, over near the glass? Well, I couldn't have a plant behind it, could I? How the hell would I ever put it up and get it down again? And already I have trouble reaching here, because I've got shelves here. There's only so far I can reach over there, so I can't go too far over. Anyway, we'll have another think. I need lunch now. Yes, believe it or not, although it looks like it's nearly dark outside, it's not, it's lunchtime. And yeah, we'll carry on tomorrow, I think. I might have another little burst this afternoon once I've had you know, had something to eat and a drink and a sit down for half an hour or so. I might sort of think, I might get one of those silly brain waves you get, light bulb moment, you know, where you're just sitting there staring into space. Fire gazing, I think it's called, only we don't have a fire nowadays, do we? And I just might get a sudden idea and come rushing out here and think, yeah, that'll work, and I'll do it. But it's probably going to be tomorrow. So we're getting there. We're getting there. And I'm happy with those 2 lights set away from the wall. They're going to work better than they did last year, back against the wall. You know, that's It's an extra 9 inches closer to the plants, which doesn't sound a lot, but in light terms it is. So we're getting there, and I'm quite happy with these lower light ones up here. They'll still get light from above. There's nothing in their way. You know, all the light coming in from above still gets to those, which, you know, isn't a huge amount in the winter. And none of those need their day lengths extended. They're not, you know, I'm not trying to push them into bloom or anything, so they'll just sit there for their winter and do okay. And we'll see how we go. So, getting there. See you next time. Bye for now. Trough time. Okay, just a quick look round. It's virtually dark outside, so this shows where the lights actually hit quite brightly. I've moved a few more plants, by the way. I think the idea is going to be that tall plants are going to go here. That's not all of them, but some of them. You can see the light gets down into this darker area quite well, but not enough to give them too much light. These are lower light orchids down here, so that's pretty good. These are in excellent light up here, that's good. And my Latorias are slightly shaded, like filtered, so that's good. I'm okay with all that lot so far. This lot up here is in the dark. As shown by silhouettes. Everything up here doesn't need extended daylights or anything like that. It's always managed without. I've got a bit of work to do with the Cattleya areas. That one's far too close. And with the light coming in from the side, I need taller ones up this end and shorter ones up this end, with the ones that need the brightest light as well trying to get near the glass. Yeah, so that's what it looks like under lights. You can see how far the light filters. You can see my shadow going across that area there. Yeah, so even that area, which is quite a distance, has some light, and like I said, some light is better than no light. I've still got some things to move though. There's no way that nocturnum needs to be in the light. But yeah, some things have just been plonked just to get them out of the way, because I'd had enough at that particular point. But the light's getting into this area. It's even, if it didn't have things in the way, it would even be getting down in there. Places it won't get to are like right down low like that. The big bush has had to go down on the floor. There's nowhere for that left to go now apart from down there. So that's where it spent the winter last year, and it still bloomed, so we won't worry about it. So there we go then. That's a rough idea of where the light gets to, and I'm quite impressed that the camera films. Looks like the sun's out in here. I suspect there's a little bit of a purple tinge, and it'll probably show like on things like the clay pots, but the actual colours of the plants themselves don't look too bad. Actual blooms, that's not rendering that colour true. That's making that a much deeper shade than it actually is. Same down here, you know, these are catching the light down here. That's not their true colour. It's not far off though. Yeah, so obviously filming my normal videos under these lights won't happen. This is just to show you sort of, you know, where the light falls and how it's working so far. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. I'll add that bit on the end, and see you next time for another update when I've done the rest of it and got the other light up somewhere, perhaps. See you next time.